friends, we just got done watching Zenshu, and I had a lot of, not expectations, 'cause I definitely don't want to say that. I didn't have any expectations. I don't have any expectations going into any of these anime, unless I'm familiar with like their source, which is like, I think like one anime, or I'm familiar, if it's like a returning season, right? I have no expectations for any of these new anime, but I did have a hope or an inkling that this one would be good. Zenshu made my list of like, hey, these are the 10 anime you need to watch this season. Zenshu was on there, and I did not like it. Now, here's what I will say to you guys. It is a beautiful anime. I think the animation is top tier. When our main character Natsuko was like drawing and she was having her like girl transformation, pretty cure Sailor Moon moment, I was like, holy crap, that is some top tier animation. MAPPA usually comes and they just deliver through blood, sweat, and tears from their employees. They deliver the best of the best of the best. And I think they did it once again here. Now, this episode, I don't want to say I was bored. Well, I was very bored at the beginning of the show. Probably the first 5 or basically until she landed in the alternate world, into the alternate world. I was pretty bored. So that's my first thing. Is my first taste of the food was not good, and my first blush with the show was pretty bored. Okay, so there's that portion of it. The other thing is the whole time sometimes I find myself hyper, and you might do this as well too, right? I think we're all humans, but sometimes I find myself in anime, I will hyper fixate on something, and it will in fact ruin a show. It could be a character like Subaru Natsuki who just doesn't change his clothes ever, and you're just sitting there wondering, how do you keep it clean? How has your shoes not come unraveled? How can you just not wash your clothes? Like, why are you not changing? Or sometimes it might be like a character like some girl who continues to wear the same dress in every single effing goddamn scene. It's like, how it's just impossible. Like, you just like, you're this princess, you're this duchess, or how do you not have more clothes? It makes no sense that you're just wearing the same thing over and over and over again. And some shows who are really good and they have higher quality don't have these problems. And these are just a couple of examples. So for me, in Zenshu was her hair. Her hair continues to be in front of her face. And I don't know, I have pretty long hair. I don't know if you guys can ever see it, but like if I wanted to, like, you know, like my hair can go like pretty, you know, pretty nuts, pretty crazy, okay? So like the whole entire time I'm thinking like, yo, I've had my hair, and I messed up my oddish right there. Ooh. The whole time I'm thinking like, okay, it looks like doo-doo, no, whatever. Ugh. The whole time I'm thinking like, how can you just sit there and, you know, have your hair in front of your face? Like, if you're a girl out there, that I know that you know this, but like, you know, for all the men out there, it's like, it's one of those things where you can't see. It's like, it's impossible. Okay. Like you simply cannot see, or you have barely any vision whatsoever. So that thing is like the first thing. And then like the whole time it's like, okay, but she's going to have like it looks like she's wearing like, it looks like she has her head turned around in her thing. And the whole time, like, please, for love of God, don't have this be the whole entire time. And don't let it be one of those things to where, like, oh, her beauty's going to poke out of her hair eventually. You know what I mean? Because that thing just drives me absolutely insane. So I was super hyper fixated on that almost the whole time. And, of course, at the end, you know, some wind blows and she finally, you know, appeared, her face finally appeared. And the main character dude, you know, finally sees her. And everyone's like, oh, she is a girl. She's a human. That's crazy. So, you know, there's that. But outside of being hyperfixated on that, like so she lands in this other world, and she's an animator from reality. She basically gets isekai. You know, she's like, oh, I thought this only happens to unsuccessful people or people who are in needs and stuff like that. And like, she's like, she gets summoned, or, you know, she basically dies and then gets reincarnated into not her work, but one that she's like a super fan of, essentially, that she's been watching. This is basically the show or the thing or the piece of media that inspired her to be an animator, okay? But here's where my kind of like my bigger faults come, and I'm going to read you guys the summary, the synopsis, okay? After graduating from high school, Natsuko Hirose starts her career as an animator. Her talent quickly flourishes, makes her debut as a director in no time. Her first anime becomes a massive hit, sparking a social phenomenon, earning her recognition as an up-and-coming genius director. So my first, that's basically the what do you call it? That's basically like the synopsis, okay? Now, in none of that did we see this. We didn't see her graduating high school. We didn't see her flourishing. We didn't see her making her debut. We didn't see what anime she really had, which, I mean, we can assume that they kind of show us a clip of like a Sailor Moon type show. We can assume that was sparking a social phenomenon. Okay, well, we didn't see that either. All we saw her was clips of her in younger years in a theater watching this show or movie that she so happens to now be a part of in this world. So that's really all we saw. So we didn't get to see any of that. All we got to see was like maybe 5 minutes or so of her being a workhorse, and then folks talking about her like, oh, she's not gonna grow her hair until she can finish the thing, and then she's whatever else, and then she chokes on her lunch. You know what I mean? So like, I just don't know. Like, I'm gonna give this another like episode. You know, like I don't know if I can do 3 episodes. I'm gonna give this another episode, but like I just didn't enjoy. I just did not enjoy it. Okay, now the rest of the synopsis was, you know, because I just pulled up my anime list. Okay, and you guys can come along the journey with me. Let's go over to my anime list. Okay, so we're still going through, and we're gonna pull it up here. Okay. So we read about after graduating, her talent flourishes and stuff, right? She becomes the genius director. Her next project is set to be, so this is what it didn't have, okay? So this is right here. Her next project is set to be a romantic comedy movie themed around her first love. And this is where my interest was in this show originally. Her next project is set to be a romantic comedy set around her first love. However, she's never been in love herself, so Natsuko struggles to understand the concept of first love. And as a result, she's unable to create the storyboard, causing the movie production to come to a standstill. So, when I was going over the new shows coming, where is any of that? Like, where is the social phenomenon? Where is her getting assigned her next project? Where is any of that? Where's the romantic comedy? Where's the first love? I guess the first love is going to be between her and this new guy, or the blonde-haired character in this other world. But what does it matter anymore if she died and got isekai'd into this world? Then her power as an animator, and I'm just saying it because that's the way that they said it in the show, is her work desk comes in front of her and she's able to do her power there. So like, I don't know, guys. Like, this is just, it's just too much for me. I think there's just too much. I think whoever created this was trying to really do, like, they had an idea and they just did too much with it, and it doesn't quite work. Like I said, I'm gonna give it another episode, but I think that this was like a 6 out of 10 for me. You know, animation wise, beautiful animation. Like, I mean, like, gorgeous animation, 10 out of 10. But just keeping my attention, me being entertained. It wasn't funny at all, so that's fine. It does not everything has to be funny. Yeah, I just 6 out of 10 is where I would land at, and I think I'm being pretty gracious there, and I'm pretty much just giving it a lot of grace because of it's such a beautiful show. Yeah, I didn't like it, guys. So those are my thoughts. You know, you're welcome to disagree. If you're familiar with the source, let me know how wrong I am. Hopefully in the comments. If I'm not wrong, you know, let me know that too. But be honest in the comments. Let me know if you were really feeling it or not. So yeah, anyway, Zenshu was fine. I'll give it one more episode, but I don't know if this is one I'll be around on a weekly basis for the long haul, because episode 1 was pretty bad to me. So those are my thoughts. I'll see you guys next week, though, for episode 2. Have a great weekend, my friends. Peace out.